Welcome back to Megaman X2. In the last I am Tiger Goku, and in the last video, I defeated one of the three X-Hunters, Agile, who was actually probably one of the harder ones to go after first. I also am kind of doing a bad order here, but oh well, what are you gonna do? It also kind of sucks, because I kind of want to go and fight the X-Hunter that's in Crystal Snail's stage right now, but I don't have Crystal Snail's weakness, and I don't want to waste all my lives just backtracking out of the stage. So I'm still gonna go in weakness order, going to Morph Moth. So I just have to pray that they don't run away at any point. Well, actually, I already spoiled that I do fight all three of them. At this point, I just had to pray that none of them ran away. But we're going into Morph Moth stage, which is actually kind of interesting because it's in a junkyard, so we get to see a lot of stuff from Mega Man X1, like those two bees there. Now, here's the thing. There is an armor part in here. Normally, you were supposed to have the helmet to let you know that there's a hidden passageway down here, but since I've beaten this game enough times, and I've beaten Wheel Gator, I already know that it's here. So we have Dr. Light here. I know, I probably should have at least had one other piece of armor by this point. Technically two at this point. I screwed up on getting the armor part that was in Wheel Gator's stage, but I'll get it eventually. No, instead, for this armor piece, we get the chest plate armor, which is the franchise's first instance of a Giga Attack, which the game is going to show off right here, and now I'm never going to be able to use it again. Thanks a lot, game. But yeah, that's the Giga Attack. In order to fully charge it back up again, I have to purposely take damage. Excuse me. But I do have to purposely take damage, and it has to be like energy shots. So like small laser beams, or like any enemies that shoot like really small spikes. Those count as absorbing energy into the Giga Attack, which is going to take a long time to get, because it involves me having to purposely take damage, and I'm not going to sit here and fully charge up my Giga Attack for that. But don't worry, I am going to get it back, because there is one specific boss that you should use it on, but not for quite a long time. For now, though, we have this mini-boss, this bug inside this giant junk robot. I'm not using the right weakness on him, unfortunately. I'm using the proper weakness on the bug version that pops out. It's on the little bug enemy itself. There we go. But you really should have been... I should have been using the speed burner on the junk robot, and then switching over to the bubble splash to take out the little insect thing that was inside of him. Speaking of the insects, those green insect enemies there can latch onto your head and force you to just constantly shoot or jump or dash in one direction over and over again, and it's really frustrating to get them off your head. But they are another excellent source of sub-tank energy if you feel like grinding off of them, because there is a spot in this game, there is a spot in this stage, right here actually. This is actually the second best farming spot in the game, although the other way is much faster, because you just go into an empty room, use the powered up, actually the weapon we get from this boss here. But here, what happens is when this thing's on your head, it'll latch its tail onto X, and then you'll just kind of jump and shoot at random. In order to get him off, you just have to mash the control pad until he comes off. It doesn't take that long. But yeah, and then we got the same mini-boss again. So hopefully I can get through it a lot faster this time. I don't know why I keep using the spin wheel, it doesn't work. But if you are fighting this robot, normally, he just kind of jumps around. He's very predictable. He does like a couple of normal shots that apparently just fly right over your head if you don't jump into him. But yeah, just use the bubble splash And then 2 shots of the bubble splash on the bug itself will take care of it, and you're good to go. We're actually coming up to the spot. If there was an X-Hunter in this level, I think we already passed it, though, but we'll see. This hallway right here is where I would... yeah, we passed it. During that section where the ladder was, and you were fighting those Joes that were throwing boomerangs at you, there is a hidden wall... There's a hidden room behind one of the walls on the right that you can walk through that leads you to a door where you can fight an X-Hunter. But since there wasn't an X-Hunter in this stage, I didn't go over there. Now for the boss himself. This is Morphmoth. Morphmoth. There we go. Sometimes I get a little tongue-tied when I say that. He starts off in his larva form, where he just kind of rocks back and forth and then shoots garbage at you. I'm throwing garbage at you because I'm made of it. God, I missed that. I love that skit. Anyway, after you... he is weak to this speed burner. As you notice there, after a while, when he spins on the floor and then comes back to the ceiling, he'll shoot a wave of garbage at you in a spiral, which you can easily dodge by just dashing around him. As for when he's the moth itself, he will dash down at you, dropping dust on you. I don't know why it's dust, but whatever. And then when he pauses in the air for a second, he's then going to shoot a laser beam at you. Just keep shooting him with the flame burner, with the speed burner, and eventually he goes down like nothing. He's actually really kind of easy. Even without his weakness, you can probably take him on as your first boss, honestly. He's not too terribly hard, and most of his pattern is very predictable. But for defeating Morphmoth, we get the Silk Shot. And now we officially have the weakness of all 3 X-Hunters if we got the charged up if we got the X-Buster upgrade, which I still don't have. God dang it. But whatever. I've mentioned this every time where I've picked a bad order to go through these in. Oh well. Next up is going to be... Oh, this is when I got nervous because I'm running out of stages to do the X-Hunter to fight the X-Hunters in. Oh crud! And now I think I'm like rethinking, like, okay, what stages have I gotten this stuff in? Oh yeah. Also, unlike X1, the boss's name actually shows up on the boss select screen. But there we go. Like, I should be going to Crystal Snail to fight an X-Hunter, but I'm going in weakness order, so I'm just like, okay, I have one shot at this. Because if the X-Hunter doesn't go to another stage that I can't select yet, then one of them's going to run away, and I'm going to miss my chance. But I'm going to take that risk, and I'm going to go through... Magna Centipede. Now, the thing with the gimmick with Magna Centipede is if you want to avoid these searchlights as best as you can. Because if you hit these searchlights, then these blocks are going to fall down. Now, the thing is, I can't actually do this section because, again, I don't have the X-Buster upgrade. God dang it. If you have the X-Buster upgrade... Oh, wait. There's 2 different ways you can do this. If you have the X-Buster upgrade and you use the charged up speed burner, you can get there. Or if you have the dash, you can grab onto that very, very small area on the ceiling that you can grab onto, and then use the air dash to... Because the leg upgrade in this game gives you an air dash. You can use the air dash to get up to that section there, which will get you a sub-tank. I say, is it a sub-tank or is it a heart tank? I can't remember. I think it's a heart tank. But you can also get another sub-tank here, and which is what I'm thinking here. It's like, okay, I know I can't get one of them, but can I get the other one without an upgrade? And I think I can. I just have to remember how to do it. So I apologize for kind of standing still here for a little bit. There we go. Yeah, it's right here. If you use this block and then dash jump right off the wall here, boom, there's the sub-tank. The other one that I missed that you need the speed burner power... The other one that you need the powered-up speed burner for is the heart tank. And as I mentioned before, this game loves its... This game uses the upgraded C4 chip and really, really, really likes its wireframes. And if you remember holograms in Mega Man 2, the hologram, the Dr. Wily alien was weak to bubbles. I don't know if it's necessarily the same weakness for the wireframe sword, but I use it anyway because why not? Yeah, this game loves its wireframes. It's one of the things you could do really well with this, with the Super FX chip 2. Dashing across here, this would be where the X-Hunter is. You just have to run past all those falling blocks. And if you notice there too, there was this weird scanner that was chasing me too. If you were to get targeted by that scanner, it would power up this mini-boss here. There's 3 different versions of him. There's actually 4 different versions of him. Right now I'm fighting the weakest version, and then you can get, if you get scanned 3 times, it powers him up 3 times. 1 power-up makes him jump higher. 1 power-up makes his shots stronger. And the 3rd power-up, I think, gives him double health? I can't remember. It's been a long time since I actually got spotted by those search engine things. All I know is that if you get targeted, then he does power himself up. It doesn't make him that much harder, it's just annoying. Now you're going to have to be fast because there's bottomless pits there. But boom. Again, the stages feel a bit shorter. Not sure if it's just me or maybe I'm just reading too much into it. But some of the stages in this game seem a lot shorter than usual. Oh well. This is Magna Centipede. If you don't use the silk shot on him to destroy his tail, he's probably the hardest Maverick in the entire game. Because if he has his tail, then he's going to pull you towards him, and if he grabs you, he will drain one of your abilities. X will turn purple, and you will lose your ability to dash. You will lose if he grabs you again, you will lose your ability to use a charge shot. And if you get grabbed a 3rd time, you basically practically lose your ability to jump entirely, which makes it ridiculously hard. But if you use the silk shot and break his tail, you don't have to worry about that. He then goes into Spark Mandrill Syndrome. He does take more damage if you actually hit him directly with the silk shot, not with the explosion that comes out. But the explosion does make it easier to hit him when he's on the ceiling. And he's deciding to be a jerk and teleporting way too fast for me sometimes, making me waste my shots, the prick. I don't know, it looks like you still do relatively the same amount of damage with whether you hit him with the debris or not. But that's Magna Centipede. An annoying boss to deal with without his weakness, but really simple if you have it. Typical of most Mega Man bosses, honestly. For defeating Magna Centipede, we get the Magnet Mine. What this doesn't show you is you can actually control where it moves. So if you hold up, it'll actually fly up in an upward diagonal angle, or if you hold down, it'll fly downward. And now I'm screwed. And now, thankfully, the final 2 X-Hunters decided to appear in the last 2 stages. Thank God. So we're going to go off to Crystal Snail, as well as take on Surges, one of the 3 X-Hunters, and I got super, super lucky. I honestly thought that I was going to have to show off the bad ending. But Crystal Snail is... I like the theme for Crystal Snail Stage 2. It's kind of... The stage itself is kind of reminiscent of... I guess I would say... Armored Armadillo. That's the only thing I can think of, honestly. Anyway, if you come up this way and use the hover dash from the ride armor, you can get this heart tank here. That's the easiest way to get it. You can also use a charged up speed burner if you have it. That helps too. Or if you're really, really good at using the strike chain, you can use the strike chain to grab the corner of that ledge. And then you just use this platform to fly back over. Which is fine, because every time you go back up, you can get the armor back again. So you have pretty much unlimited tries to get that heart tank. So now I finally get a chance to talk about the ride armor for this game. Compared to the X1, this ride armor is 1,000,000 times better. You have a hover jump, which that alone kind of makes it just better in every way. And I think I'm thinking of X3 when I'm going down this wall here. Oh well. If you have that crystal fall and break the wall there, that way you can get up this way. Up here is where the X-Hunter door is. What you have to do is you need the ride armor to get to the X-Hunter door. So if you hover jump with the ride armor up here and use the ride armor to break through these blocks, you can then hover jump up and get in here with the ride armor, and this is where you go to fight the X-Hunter. And thankfully, since the armor itself prevents me from taking damage, I can get that extra health. If you don't have the air dash here, you just wait for the missile to drop down and jump out of the wall and jump out of the armor, and you can grab onto the missile there. I think you can get up here without using the armor once you get into that room, but I can't remember. But this is where you fight the X-Hunter, and this is Surge's. Surge's is also the only X-Hunter that has a long intro when you talk to him. Careful there. When Surge's throws his cloak at you, there is a small chance that his cloak can fall on top of you and you can take damage. Now, Surge's, when he has this barrier up, you can't hurt him. And then when his barrier is down, he'll jump and then throw a bunch of missiles at and throw a bunch of energy orbs at you. If he stays out on the ground, he will lay mines on you. And here's what I was talking about with different properties for the Silk Shot. This is actually all the X-Hunter's weaknesses, and I just got lucky to realize that I'm fighting Surge's in Crystal Snail stage, because Surge's is actually weak to the Crystal Snail variant of the Silk Shot. So that makes things a lot safer for me. If I didn't have that, Surge's is actually probably the hardest of the 3 X-Hunters to deal with. And then I died, because I completely forgot that there was a spike there. Well, don't worry, I jump cut. and I would get that one up to make up for it, but I'm not going to risk it again. That was embarrassing, but oh well. So now we have the second piece of Zero. So now all that's left is Violin. And thankfully he should still be in Overdrive Ostrich's stage when I finish up Crystal Snail. This mini-boss is really annoying because you have that weird little energy, that weird little insect thing shooting laser beams at you. Thankfully, the crystal is really weak to the spinning wheel. So you can just drop the spinning wheel on it and it does massive damage to it. Dropping down this hole, you can find this mini hallway, and here's where you find another Dr. Light capsule. Megaman X, enter this capsule. And he will give us... This enhancement will modify your radar optics. So we get the helmet. It uses some energy, but with it you will be able to see objects that you could not see before. It says it uses energy, but I think they forgot to program the fact that it costs energy. Because as far as I can tell, when we use the optics to find hidden areas, it doesn't actually drain the weapon energy from the... Yeah, see? The weapon energy doesn't seem to drain from it. But anyway, as you can tell there, it shows you where there's hidden passageways. And you can really only get that extra life if the light capsule is still there. Because if you come back here later, there's nothing to climb up to that part of the ceiling, so you can't get that one up again. Which is kind of unfortunate. Up there, that room where I just passed up is actually another area where you can... This room right here is another area you can use to farm, but it actually doesn't give you life energy, I don't think. No, that one gives you weapon energy. So... But again, I still don't have the X-Buster upgrade, so I couldn't do it even if I wanted to. Oh well. Also, be careful about those giant crystals there, because if they smash you against the wall, you will die. As you can see in the bottom right corner there, too, you can see the 3 pieces of Zero that you can get. So... So I have his legs, and I have the head. And Violin still has his body, so we'll have to get that. But before that, we have to deal with Crystal Snail. Again, this game really likes its sprite rotations. Whatever. The other is he going to use it right away? No, he's not. Crystal Snail is weak to the Magnet Mine. Sometimes he takes a long time to move. You hit him with the Magnet Mine, and then he then dashes into the wall. Make sure you jump over him, because when he crashes into the wall, he does take extra damage. And as you can see here, you can be a total jerk and just kick around his shell while he's trying to get back into his shell. And that gives you more option. That gives you more of an opportunity to hit him. So if you just keep kicking his shell, he can't do anything, and he's dead. I actually didn't get a chance to show off what his attack is. When he gets to his desperation move, wherein his HP is lower, he will actually slow down time a bit, making it a little bit harder for you to avoid where he's coming from, because he still moves at the same speed, but you're slower. So you just have to take that into account. But now we have the Crystal Hunter.